Hey, welcome back. Simon Lees here again. I've got a gear demo video for you today. This one I'm going to concentrate on showing you my live rig for my one-man rock show. I haven't got the speakers plugged in today because that'd be a little bit overkill, but I'll tell you what they are. They are QSC K12, not the 12.2, which is the current version. But yeah, 12-inch speakers with a horn, a little bit of digital signal processing inside, and they are ridiculous, you know. So the speakers are cool. Now Alan is back on duty today, so that he can show you what's going on the floor, and that is my Neural DSP Quad Cortex machine with the helpful sticky labels that I've put on the top to remind me where the you know what each socket is for, because when I'm setting up in a gig, I can't keep looking behind at the thing. So yeah, the panel of sockets. So yeah, when I play my one-man gigs, the Quad Cortex stays well out of the way. A couple of reasons for that. The Quad Cortex doesn't have its own expression pedal, and I use a couple of expression pedals when I play live. So instead I've got the Behringer FCB 1010 MIDI foot controller, which controls all the different things that I need to do on the Quad Cortex. So basically the FCB 1010 is it costs about 1/10 of the price of the Quad Cortex, so it's I'm much happier having that on the floor, where overexcited punters may get a bit casual with their drinks. So last thing I want is a spillage on something expensive, which also is responsible for everything that comes out of my speakers, and I'll explain a bit more about that. The guitar I'm using is a guitar that's been my main guitar for the one-man rock show for the last, I don't know, almost 20 years, and it is a Jackson SL3 Soloist. It's stock. I haven't changed any of the parts on it. I got it from a friend of mine called Tom Bishop, who used to work at Sound Control, I believe, which was what used to be Turnkey in London. I don't know if it's Denmark Street, but around there somewhere anyway. And this thing came into the shop slightly shop soiled, has a few little marks on it, you know, but it managed to get the price down from about 960 quid, 960 UK pounds, to 300. So I asked him if he would accept 250, and he told me in no uncertain terms that he wouldn't. So you got to try, haven't you? But no, it's a phenomenal guitar. It's been set up a couple of times now by Andy Neville at One Way Music, Andy Neville's Guitar Workshop, and it plays very nicely. You know, got a massive neck on it, way more chunky than any Jackson neck I've ever played, including models of, you know, this model, the SL3. So what differentiates the SL3 from the 2 and the 1? The SL3 was made in Japan, and the 2 and the 1 were USA made. So, you know, it's good. It's like but say with this chunky neck, you feel like you could literally throw it down the stairs and it would be gig ready. You know, still. So yeah, marvelous. The microphone I'm using, testing. This is an AKG D5, which suits my voice a lot better than a SM58 or a Beta 58. I find the Beta especially is very honky in the mid-range, and I've got quite a piercing voice when I sing, so the last thing I want is to have that exaggerated going through the speakers, you know. I mean, you could EQ it out, but it's like you're better off getting a mic that doesn't need that much EQ. So for me, the D5 is much more similar to a condenser mic. It isn't. It's a dynamic mic, but it's a very sweet sounding one, and it's very robust. You know, it's really well made, and I love it. You know, I've been using those for a good 12 years or so. What else? The backing tracks, I should mention, I play those on my tablet. I bought a new tablet and it's a thing. It's an app called Music-O-Let. I don't know if that's how they want you to pronounce it, but and you notice there's no wires. It's all Bluetooth. Buried behind my Quad Cortex is a Clark Technic Bluetooth receiver, and the way that works, it's connected to the outputs of the Quad Cortex. There's 4 outputs on the Quad, and I think the ones that the backing tracks are connected to are the return sockets, I think, or are they the send? Probably the send, actually. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? But either way, it means that I can have the tablet on a tablet holder, which kind of sits on connected to my mic stand, and then I can just access all my songs from there. You know, so it's a music player app. Works pretty much the same as any other music player app, where you can make your own playlists. The thing I like about it is you can set it up so that it stops at the end of each song. The only thing is you've got to remember to cancel that effect when you go for your break and you want to play your background music, otherwise you have to keep running back to it and pressing play. But that's not a big deal. Yeah, so I bought a new tablet because the one that I'd had for years, when I use this app, every now and again it'd kind of skip, and I'll be like, whoa, where am I? You know, only like a couple of seconds, or not even that. You know, maybe half a second, but it'd be a bit off-putting. So I thought, well, maybe the tablet's getting old. So I bought a new tablet, not a massively expensive one. I think it's a Samsung S9 Plus. I thought I'd go for the Plus. It sounded better, you know. And ever since, it's been absolutely fine. I don't use that tablet for anything else. It is literally just for playing music for my one-man gigs. So it's not even connected to Wi-Fi or anything like that. So it's just Bluetooth to the Clark Technic Bluetooth receiver, which then goes into the Quad Cortex. So yes, I guess they go into the return sockets. That would make sense, because the send sockets I use for my recording device that I'm actually using now to record this from the lapel mic. I can take 2 jack plugs into or two jack leads into that recording device, and I can record my gigs, you know, which is brilliant. So as setups go, you know, the only thing that you can't see here is literally my 2 speakers, and they're not very big, so it's a real minimalist setup, you know. So what I'm going to do now is just take you through the presets that I use. I've set up my own presets. They're very specific, and there's about 8 of them. Each one is very similar to the last one. It's usually, there's only 1 or 2 little differences, because I like to have the same type of thing on the same pedal, you know. So for example, pedal 1 has got my rhythm sound. So it's like there's quite a bit of echo on there. The PA speakers tend to dampen that a little bit, so you'll find that the echo, you know, you think, well, that's a bit extreme, you know, but if I play, well, when I play chords like that, the echo isn't detracting from the chords, you know. Just when you stop playing, you just get these lovely trails, you know. If I don't want any echo, and I'm thinking for songs such as you know, for things like that, you can hear there's reverb on there, but yeah, so I have got a setting for that. The way the Quad Cortex works, you have what they call the preset, and the preset is like an entire guitar rig. My preset includes a clean amp, a dirty amp, and all the effects that I'm ever going to need. And to turn each one on and off, I've got what Neural DSP calls scenes. So a scene is it just takes your entire rig, and some things are turned on and some things are turned off. So you've got 8 different scenes that you can have within a preset. And say for most things that's enough, but there's just a few songs that I play where I do need like a signature guitar sound, you know, something that if the record that I'm covering has got a special guitar sound, I want to get somewhere close to that, you know. So yeah, so pedal 1 is the basic rhythm sound. Pedal 7 is the basic rhythm sound but dry. You'll see, hopefully, if Alan's doing his job, by the side of each pedal, I've kind of written roughly what that pedal does. So it's just, you know, if sometimes it can be several months between doing one-man gigs, and I do kind of sometimes forget. So yeah, pedal 2 is my lead sound. You know, so again, plenty of delay on there, and it's you know, yeah, it's a great sound. Both the rhythm and lead sounds use a version of a PV5150 amp. You know, that tends to be my go-to for this kind of sound. I don't think that amp has been bettered really for what I do and for what I want to do. It just sounds right. It just has the right feel. You know, it's got the right amount of crispness. It's crunchy. It's full. It's not like a wimpy sound. You know. So a lot of the differences between my rhythm sound and my lead sound are just sort of to do with EQ, really. That's the biggest thing. You know, the rhythm sound has less mid, basically, so it means when I'm singing, my voice isn't competing with the guitar to the same level, and you get better separation between the strings. You know, if I do that with my lead sound, you know, it's all right, but it's a bit mushy compared to the rhythm sound. But that means that when you play single notes, the single notes are going to stand out, and that they're going to sound smoother. That's the nice thing. It's like when you get up to the when you're on the thin E string set on the 15th fret. If I do that with the rhythm sound, again, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just a bit scratchy in comparison. So this is the lead sound. You know, it's nice, you know, it does the job. So I've got to have a clean sound, so that's on pedal 3, and the clean sound, I can use any pickup. These are Seymour Duncan pickups. There's a JB on the bridge, otherwise known as the TB4, I think, and in the middle and the neck I've got Seymour Duncan hot rails, so they're all Seymour Duncan pickups. So this is the neck position. That's quite nice. I mean, I'll try the position 4, see if that quacks a bit more, you know. Yeah, which it does, you know, which is nice. I very rarely use the middle pickup on any guitar, to be honest, but just lately I have been experimenting, and sometimes if I go from the middle to the neck, yeah, there's not a lot in it. It's I still probably prefer the neck on its own anyway, but sometimes in a mix, the middle pickup on its own sounds a little bit better. So yeah, moving on. There are a couple of special features that I use. Now, I mean, you might be aware, it's because I'm talking quite close to the microphone and it is switched on. Hello. You can hear there is a bit of echo, but on pedal 4, if I want to really put an echo, like an exaggerated echo, hello. Now pedal 5, I've just been tapping. Just get rid of that echo for a second. Pedal 5 I use for the tap tempo, so it's basically whatever the tempo is of the song that I'm playing to. If I tap that in time to the song, then the echoes will also be in time with the song, which is great. You know, it's a feature I've never had before. So yeah, so I've sped it up a little bit. So let's see what happens when I'm talking to the mic now. Hey. Sounds pretty much the same. Okay, so I'll tap a bit slower. Hey. So yeah, so it does make a difference. Cool. So that's the first 5 pedals. As you can see, I mean, if I just go through them. Pedal 1 corresponds with A on the Quad Cortex, pedal 2 is B, pedal 3 is C, pedal 4 is G. Now the reason it's not linear in sequence kind of thing is because it was originally, but I found that where I had to have that extra echo, I think it ended up being on pedal 7, and in the middle of singing and stuff, it was quite difficult to sort of hit that accurately, so that's why I kind of swapped it around. But I did that using the settings on the FCB 1010 rather than reprogramming the Quad Cortex, so it was just a slightly quicker way of doing it, you know. So it's just basically telling the FCB that when I press pedal 4, I want it to go to G rather than D. You know, so it was just easier to do it that way. Okay, now pedal 6 corresponds to F, so that's what it was originally. So you can hear that it's got a lot more echo. It's that's the pedal that I use if I just particularly want more echo on my clean sound, because that is sometimes a thing, you know. You know, so it's really nice. Pedal 7, as we've already seen, is the dry rhythm sound. I also use it for war pigs. You know, generals gather, that sort of thing. Pedal 8 is a good one. Pedal 8 actually selects the preset, and every time I hit it, it kind of resets to whatever's stored in the memory of the Quad Cortex. So any changes that I might have made using the tap tempo get kind of wiped out, and it just goes back to what I set it to originally. The other thing it does, it cuts the backing track. So if let me demonstrate. Yeah, so if I'm just going to play this this tune. So if I then press pedal 8, it just cuts that out. That's got a couple of benefits. There have been occasions, anybody who's been to my one-man gigs regularly will have probably witnessed this at some point, where some member of the public, shall we say, for want of a better word, decides that they can do a better job than I can, and they literally push me out of the way, and then they start singing down the microphone. So when that happens, I can just hit pedal 8 and it just cuts the backing tracks. All of a sudden all that's coming through the speakers is them going, you know, so that's a good thing. The other thing, it cuts the echo from the mic. So if I go hey, so there's no echo there, which is good, because when you're trying to talk to the audience in between songs and your voice is echoing whilst you're talking, it doesn't sound very cool. So yeah, so that's what pedal 8 does. It still allows the guitar to come through, so I can still mess around on the guitar, no problem. Pedal 9 and 10, I'll do 10 first. 10 is the flange. Yeah, I forgot. So as soon as you hit any other pedal than 8, it unmutes the backing track, so the backing track just comes straight back in again. So it takes you've got to kind of keep your wits about you, you know. But yeah, devastating. Because the two rows of pedals on the FCB are offset, pedal 10 is actually quite easy to get to, so that's a good thing, because I like to use the flange as just an effect that I can just bring in any time I fancy, just to make things less boring, I suppose. But there are a couple of songs where I use it as like it has to be in certain parts of certain songs, you know. But yeah, that's it. Now, I say I've got 8 banks set up. The basic rhythm and clean sounds on each bank are pretty much the same. I haven't got different rhythm sounds or different lead sounds for different covers, you know. And I say the vast majority of what I do is covers. I find, you know, I can use the same sound for Master of Puppets as I use for, I don't know, Vertigo by U2 or Still of the Night or Boys Are Back in Town. It doesn't really matter. My philosophy is I want to sound like me, as long as it's ballpark, you know. I can always kind of change things using like the volume control on the guitar if I want to make something a bit less kind of dirty. That's it, and you know that I love that surge that you get when you turn the volume up. You get that massive increase in distortion, and it's such a cool thing. I mean, I've used that effect when I play with Budgie. Yeah, you're probably thinking, oh, he's managed to go 10 minutes without talking about Budgie. Well done. But when you're standing in front of 2 full Marshall stacks, you know, and you've got 16 speakers, 12-inch speakers, cranked up, and then you do that, it's a little bit like it's an exciting kind of experience, you know. It's fantastic. I remember one of the gigs I did in Poland, I sort of, when we were sound checking, I kind of looked behind the amps, and I noticed the bottom 2 sets of speakers weren't plugged in, and I was like, guys, can you just plug those in as well? You know, I want the full benefit, I want the full experience. This is why I'm doing it, you know. So they're like, oh, this guy is crazy. It's like, but you know, this is what I want. You know, since not being in Budgie, I haven't experienced it again, you know, which is I kind of miss it. My ears probably don't miss it, to be fair. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through some of the presets for the more specific songs that need specific sounds. So what I'm going to do, I use the up pedal, and then I just press 8, and that's going to select the preset for the next bank. And I say it's going to have pretty much the same sounds, but this one is for a song by Gary Moore called Out in the Fields, or Gary Moore filled in it, and it starts off with this. Yeah, so I've got a couple of harmonizers on there just to sort of give that a really big sound. I'm not keen on the harmonizers on the Quad Cortex. I think the ones on the Roland, on the Boss GT pedals are much better. These harmonizers tend to be a little bit glitchy. I think where Neural DSP kind of scores more highly is on the actual amp modeling and the speaker, like the IRs and all that sort of stuff, which it's second to none, I think. But the harmonizer is a little bit on the weak side. There are controls on there. There's a low pass filter which is coming quite handy, where I could sort of reduce the high frequencies. That's made it a lot more palatable, but it's still, to me, it still sounds grainy and a bit like glitchy and stuff, and it's not ideal, to be honest. So Neural DSP, if you're watching, I would like a better harmonizer, please. Okay, so that's the only difference I think on that patch. It's just for the intro riff, and which comes in and out throughout the song. You know, I just wanted that effect, so I've sacrificed the extra echo on the mic for that. So everything else is exactly the same. So pedal 2, or bank 2 I should say, so I'll press pedal 8, that brings up the next preset. And I've done a similar thing with this. I've sacrificed the extra echo on the voice for it's another harmonizer effect. What I wanted was a ring modulator, because that little riff that I played, if anybody knows me, they'll know that's Angry Dolphins from my Freethinker album. And it doesn't sound quite right. You know, I've never, since I've stopped using the Boss GT5, I haven't been able to get that sound. Now, one of the things with Neural DSP, when they brought out the Quad Cortex, they promised that users would be able to load onto the Quad Cortex any plugins, any PC plugins that they bought from Neural. They will be ported onto or be able to be ported onto the Quad Cortex. Now, some of them have been done. One of the latest plugins that Neural made was the Archetype Misha Mansour plugin, and that has got a ring modulator. It doesn't sound exactly the same as my GT5, but in some ways I think it actually sounds better. It's a really cool sound, you know. So eventually, at some point, I will be able to use that on the Quad Cortex when the guys at Neural manage to get it coded or whatever in such a way that you can port it onto the Quad Cortex. Looking forward to that. That's going to be really good, because I don't really play that song, that instrumental much, because it's the sound kind of puts me off. Okay, the next one, so bank 3, that I've replaced the clean sound on pedal 3 for a capture, which is like a kind of a model of an acoustic guitar. It's a Martin. I can't remember if I used the same sound on pedal 6. Yeah, I'm not sure if that might just be my clean sound, but now I've got a horrible feeling Alan has run out of steam. I'm just going to check. As previously discussed, Alan only has enough stamina for a 30-minute recordings. So I didn't think it had been that long, to be honest, but hey, time flies when you're having fun. I hope you're enjoying this. Please like and subscribe, share if you can, and also leave a comment if there's anything you want to know that I haven't already mentioned. I've still got a bit to go, so hang in there. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. One reason I've got this lot out is because this Thursday coming, which is the 2nd of April 2026, I'm going to be doing a one-man show in a place called Stone, which is not far from Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire, and the pub is called the Swan Inn. I've been playing there regularly for 18 years. Yeah, so a long time. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the guys there again. So shout out to the Swan. So I thought, yeah, I'll get this out, test it, make sure it's all working as I think it should, and make a video at the same time, you know. Now, I say it's not the same sound as an acoustic guitar, but it has got a certain character, and especially when you blend it with other instruments, you know, from the backing tracks. You know, I'm thinking, what can I use? I'm trying to think of what would be a good thing to test, you know. I know. We'll try that. We'll try that tune that you're not. We'll try that tune that you're not supposed to play in guitar shops. So that kind of works, doesn't it? Now I have a confession to make. There is an acoustic guitar on the backing track, but yeah, I mean that was a kind of get out of jail card, just in case I couldn't get a decent acoustic sound, you know, with the gear that I got. I think I've been doing that song since about 1997, so at that point I didn't have any kind of modelling thing. The closest I had was a Boss ME10, and that had like a distortion module, but the in terms of IRs, impulse responses, speaker simulation, basically, it was either on or off. It wasn't any more complicated than that. So, and I mean, I did okay. I did about 3-4 years worth of gigs using that, but it wasn't the best guitar sound, to be honest. So when I made the backing track for Stairway, it seemed like a pretty good idea just to put a bit of an acoustic guitar on the track as well, you know. But I say, if I just on its own. Yeah, it's not bad. It's like sometimes when you get to the low notes and I'm playing really loud, the speakers do sort of go, brrr, you know, so I have to sort of, I have really fine-tuned it as much as I can, because I don't want it to sound wimpy. I hate wimpy guitar sounds, you know. But anyway, apart from that, I think everything else is pretty much the same. I think I've reinstated the echo, the extra echo on the voice. Let's just check. Hey, yeah. Yeah, so that's as it should be. So I think everything else, because when I use these other banks to do specific songs, when I get to the end of the song, I sometimes forget to go back to the like the generic one that sort of does everything. So it's good that a lot of these sounds are duplicated between banks. So you know, I sometimes I'll get halfway through a song and I think, I haven't changed back, but it doesn't really matter. You know, it's I've still got my basic rhythm sound, my basic lead sound, my basic clean sound. You know, it's all good. Okay, so the next one I've got this one set up, and this is a little bit. It requires a bit of skill to sort of get this right. If you imagine imagine I'm playing that song, and I'm doing the verse section, and it gets to the bit where he goes, "Bright blue sky, sky, sky." So I can use that extra echo for that. That's what it was designed for, you know, and it's something I've always kind of wanted to do. It's not perfect because it depends what point you press the pedal at as to what words get kind of repeated. But it's really difficult to get rid of the bright blue before because all you really want is the sky, you know, to be repeated. But either way, that's the sweet child of mine one. Everything else on there is the same. So if I go to the next one, bank 5. What's different about this one? If you're familiar with a song by Ultravox called "Dancing with Tears in My Eyes," so there's in the verse section, you know, so that is set up specifically for the tempo of this song, you know, so it's that works well. You know, so oh, that echo is brilliant. So you know, you can hear how that's kind of working. Yeah, so this is like a happy coincidence that I've managed to set up a sound, using the same preset, so I haven't got to go to a different preset. So what I kind of sometimes do is put these two songs back to back. So I'll do the Ultravox one, and then I can play Pride by U2, because that one requires extra echo on the guitar. So I don't know if the middle pickup was better, or if I should. Yeah, I think maybe different parts of the song suit different pickup choices on this one. Yeah, the position 4 is not. It's not, doesn't cut through enough. But that's great, you know. So I managed to kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that preset. Again, everything else is the same. I've still got my rhythm, my lead, my flange. So love that. Okay, so that was 5. Number 6. Again, it's for a specific song. This one is for Kaylee by Marillion. So if I use. Now this one might be a position 4 job. I haven't talked about the expression pedals yet, which I need to do. This is a great way to sort of explain what I do with them. Hang on, let's try and think of the... know, so what that's listen to the noise, man. Yeah, that's but the thing is, I never keep that effect on unless everything's kind of going at the same time, so you can't really hear that background noise. I could use a gate, but nah, I'm not that bothered. But it's a nice effect because it goes from the clean. So by pressing that pedal forward, it does two things. It turns the overdrive on, and then it increases the drive until you get to a predetermined level, which I've set up there. So yeah, so that's Kaylee. Pedal 7's an interesting one. In fact, Bank 7. What I've done on this one is, because I've only got small speakers, and I keep saying that I don't want the things to sound wimpy. I don't want it to, I don't want it to sound small. I want it to try and give the audience the best experience. The amount of low end on my backing tracks is absolutely critical. I can't afford to go overboard with it. But there's a couple of backing tracks. There's this one in particular. In fact, I'll give you a demo. It's got a hell of a lot of low end on the start. There's a big keyboard introduction. Now you can hear, what I wanted to do basically was create John Lord's keyboard sound. He's got that absolutely monstrous organ sound, and the thing sounds as though it's just about to shake itself to pieces, kind of thing. And I wanted to try and create that effect. Unfortunately, it does almost shake my speakers to pieces. So what I've done, because I don't want that. I mean, if I'm not playing too loudly, it's okay. I can afford to sort of keep it as it is. But if I'm maxed out, if I'm playing like a big venue, I need to reduce the low end just on this section of the song. So I've set up a pedal specifically for that. So if I change to that now, so you can see it just takes the destructive element of the low end of that keyboard out. So, because if you come to my gigs, you'll see me sometimes. I'll be looking at the back of the speakers just to see if the red light's coming on. It's not the end of the world if it does, but I try and avoid that if I can, because I don't want the speakers, I don't want the amps inside the speakers working that hard, So. Yeah, so that's one I specifically set up for that. Now the last one is another great one, and I haven't used this yet. I was tempted recently when I did a gig, and towards the end of the gig, my voice obviously gets a bit tired, and if I put this song on. Now, if I go to another bank and I'll do the same thing. Now you can tell that's what you just heard was in the original key. What you first heard was in a a key kind of 2 frets lower, so I'll just change that again so you can hear the difference. If I start, I'll start off in the original key. Now, yeah, okay, it does affect the sound quality ever so slightly, but if my voice is tired and people are asking for Living on a Prayer, which is an absolute killer to sing, especially the last bit, this is like another get out of jail free card, you know. This so I can keep the audience happy and sort of not smash my voice to pieces at the same time. Cool. I didn't demonstrate the wah thing, so I'll do that. Now, so just so you know, most of the backing tracks that I use in my one-man show, I created myself, and including the Living on a Prayer, the Knocking at Your Back Door, the Deep Purple one. You know, over the years, I've used all kinds of different equipment to make backing tracks on, and you know, it's like, yeah, there's a hell of a variety. I mean, lately I've got Cubase, the latest version of Cubase. Everything's done on there. I've got top drum software. I've got a huge mic that I can use for backing vocals and things like that to just try and make the sound as big as possible. So, I mean, that was one of the things that I wanted to kind of impress on people, that when you're listening to my stuff that's coming out of my speakers during my one-man show, it's not the karaoke, because I made those backing tracks, you know. So it's just that I've only got one voice and one pair of hands, you know, and I want to try and make some money. This is how I've managed to survive for the 31 years that I've been doing this, you know. Wow, that's a long time, isn't it? So yeah, I thought I'd just mention that, you know, because you always get people who sort of, oh, I think, you know, you should be in a proper band, you should have drums and everything like this. And yeah, in an ideal world, that would be the way it is, but it's not an ideal world, you know. It hasn't been, and it's not getting any better. Musicians aren't sort of suddenly getting loads of money and loads of gigs, you know. Venues are shutting down, pubs are shutting down, so you just got to do what you can. So yeah, that's what I'd say. That would be my answer. So yeah, so just to mention the wah. So basically, the other expression pedal I can use to just bring in a wah pedal any time I want. It doesn't matter what the sound is. That was actually my rhythm sound that I was playing lead on. Let's try a bit of lead with a lead sound. That might make more sense. It's not a bad wah, you know, so I'm quite happy with that. So, I mean, hopefully that's kind of giving you an insight. I mean, I haven't kind of demonstrated any tunes. Shall I do that for you? Just so we got a tune down, but to try and avoid copyright infringement, I'm going to do one of mine. So it's going to be this one. Nice one. That was Crab Racing from my World album. It's the tune that I won the Guitarist of the Year competition with back in the day. And the fast fiddly bit, I've completely forgotten how that goes. But I don't think anybody noticed. So, marvellous. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you want any more gear demos, I've got one or two bits of bobs I could maybe think about. Actually, somebody's asked me for a demo on the song Justice from the You're All Living in Cuckoo Land Budgie album. There I go, I mentioned him again. And there's another song from there called Dead Men Don't Talk. That didn't use a particularly interesting guitar sound. It was just my, sort of bog standard thing, but I might kind of talk about that as well. So yeah, hopefully that was, you found that entertaining. So please keep the requests coming. I've had some really good ones. It just gives me, fuel to think of things to do for the next videos. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in about a week. Cheers.